Counselor? There's a raccoon stuck in the vending machine.
That's so annoying. I wanted a snack.
Welcome to Trail Mix.
Our mini episodes from Camp Counselors podcast.
Each week, the stories come from you, our Camp Shady Birch campers.
We want to hear your juicy gossip,
Top secret confessions,
embarrassing and scary stories.
and sprinkle in our sage counselor advice.
Trail Mix is for the campers.
And God, do we love ya.
Hey, happy campers.
Welcome back to Trail Mix.
It's our mini episode where we read listeners submitted stories. And today is a very spooky one indeed.
It is, guys. I don't know if you guys realize it, but it's the day before Halloween 2023, bitch. But only if you really listen to it this day.
On time, yeah. People are probably listening. They're like, hey, it's November 1st. It's November 2nd. It's actually December of 2025.
Someone's going to be listening to this of March of next year and be like, well, I'll just buckle in for a Halloween episode. Guys, we have to have themes, okay?
Yeah.
Like, how else are we going to structure the show?
We're having freaking fun. Is that such a crime?
I don't know how it's going to go this year, but last year we were the first year in this neighborhood. We talked about this last year on the main podcast episodes, but we didn't realize our street was like a major trick-or-treating street.
It's popping.
Are we going to be here tomorrow?
For Halloween, I think we're going to be here on Halloween.
There's a big Halloween parade in the West Village, and I would love to go see that and then go out to drink later and keep the lights off here so we don't have to avoid the contact with the kids.
So are you talking about actual Halloween or actually tomorrow? Because this is pre-recorded.
Well, yeah, I'm playing along.
Okay, tomorrow.
You know what I'm doing.
Got it.
Yeah. So are we going to do that tomorrow?
Yeah, we can do that.
I think we should. I think we should get out of the house because I have this fear. Have you guys ever seen Christmas with the Cranks where the kids are knocking? They're like, free Frosty, free Frosty. I know it's Halloween, but I'm scared the kids are going to be knocking at our doors, banging at our glass because we didn't put out any candy for them.
Yeah. We did last year.
There was like 100 kids last year. I was terrified.
More than 100 kids. Absolutely more than 100 kids.
We watched Taboo with the lights off.
We did because we were like, we're not home.
What's your favorite candy to get at Halloween?
Reese's. I
Really?
love a Reese's. What's yours?
What kind of Reese's? Just to be specific. Do you want the cups?
I want the peanut butter cups or the ones that are shaped like pumpkins.
Okay, I love the pumpkin ones. The best shape for me is definitely the Easter egg.
Because it's just straight to the point. There's no funny business.
Yeah, and if you put them in the freezer, so good.
Have you ever had the white chocolate?
Yeah, white chocolate is not chocolate. I don't know what it is.
I don't know what it is either.
It doesn't taste chocolatey enough for me, but I do. Yeah, it's okay.
I kind of sounded like Lisa Barlow. Yeah. Have you ever had the white chocolate?
I love that.
I love that for you.
I want you to do your Meredith Marks impersonation.
I know. I think I have one.
Want me to do it?
Yeah.
Rumors, you can leave. Are you guys watching Real Housewives of Salt Lake City? I absolutely hate it, but I'm actually like hate watching it because it's kind of good.
I love it.
Back to what my favorite candy is.
Yes.
I love it. For Halloween specifically, for a trick-or-treating expose, I would like to receive the mini Nestle Crunch bars.
Okay.
The blue, the red, the little
Right.
the Rice
Those are
Krispies
good.
in chocolate. I think it's timeless. I think it's classic, right to the point. Me, I love it.
That's good. That's a good classic.
Everyone likes them, the little crunches.
Yeah.
Well, should we get this show started?
Let's get the show started. So I've got a story about a ghostly visit from a wallflower child.
Oh, are we doing all scary stories this episode?
Oh, yeah.
correct?
We've got all scary stories, guys.
Oh, I love that. So my first story is going to be about a haunted Ouija board, but aren't they all?
And then we've got a spirit that followed a camper home from house to house.
Oh, I have a story about a camper that's hiding in a hotel from a murderer.
Oh, okay. Sounds good. Let's get into it.
Let's get into it, guys.
Scary stories around the campfire. Welcome back to Scary Stories Around the Campfire.
They're all going to be scary stories, campers. It's Halloween, okay? Like, we have to give you one spooky episode. So it's a collection of 4 of our favorite chilling stories.
Right, and when it comes to trail mix, this is your handful of M&Ms because it is Halloween. You know, we got to give you the candy, and it's all just one thing.
I know, and next week we'll be back to nuts with a lot of poop stories and just general gossip and drama. But today we're focusing on the M&Ms, the tricks and the treats of the spooky season. Jonathan, take us away. What is our first scary story of the week?
For as long as I can remember, I've had occasional night terrors. I'm putting that in quotes because I've never really been sure if what I see in the middle of the night is just a product of my brain wires absolutely glitching out, or if I just straight up see ghosts.
That's terrifying. It's
I
like
know.
a
Just
really
figure it out.
sad way to live, Camper. I hope we get that figured out because I could never keep going on.
It's giving Jennifer Love Hewitt.
In what movie?
In Ghost Whisperer.
Bring back Jennifer Love Hewitt. I loved her in Garfield.
Either way, I frequently wake up and see people or animals in my room. Yes, it's shocking and scary when it happens. That sounds like the question she gets often. There is nothing quite like opening your eyes at 3 a.m. to see someone next to you in your bed blankly staring at you. I'm all set. I'm good. I'm out. It happens often enough that whenever I start dating someone new, I have to tell them that this could happen during the night. I try to laugh about it, and most guys think it sounds funny or like a cute little quirk until it's the middle of the night and I'm literally screaming at the top of my lungs and pulling them out of bed because I see an old man reaching out to touch them.
This is a case of a cursed child. This is what the movies are about. What is happening?
Maybe get some Z-Quil. I'm not sure. So are these night disturbances just dreams? Here's a story that made me certain that they are bona fide Casper encounters.
Let's hear it.
I moved in with my sister after following my fiance to Europe and then breaking up with him. Okay, that's another story. You could write that one in. I had nowhere to live, and she and her husband had just purchased a home in Massachusetts, which, as counselor Zachariah knows, is full of very old, very haunted houses.
It really is. There's so much spooks going on there, but go off.
One night, shortly after moving in, my blissful sleep was interrupted. I woke up and saw a little boy, probably aged at about 7 or 8 years old, walking around the room. I sat up, literally frozen in fear, as he walked to the wall that my bed was on. But he didn't look at me. It's like he didn't even know I was there. Instead, he walked straight up to the wall and just stood there. His nose was practically touching the wall. He was so close to it. And he just stood there for a while. It was so fucking creepy. After a few minutes had gone by, I finally got a few minutes.
Well, this happens to her all the time. So she's like, what's she going to do? Like, she has to ride it out. It's like having the spins, but like with ghosts.
I finally had the courage to jump up and flip the lights on. And when I did, he was gone.
Typical ghost activity.
Fast forward a couple of days, I get home in the early evening and my sister already has some friends over. And they're all sitting in the backyard at a fire pit. Note, at this point, I had never been in their backyard. We were hanging out and chatting when one of her friends points to the house and says, "Oh, weird, the house used to have a window there, but they sealed it up." I look where he's pointing, and sure enough, we could see the frame of a window, but the house's siding now had covered it up. You might already see where this is going. But after staring at this discovery for a few seconds, I realize it's where my room is, and exactly where the little ghost boy was standing. It all clicked. He wasn't standing up against the wall. He was looking out the window.
Oh my God.
Signed the camper with a nightlight in cabin 13.
So these aren't like, these are real. Like that's a real story that like what she's seeing at night is ghost. And also,
Yeah.
What's also very interesting about this is typically in the movies, that I'm not like a real researcher of the paranormal, it seems like a lot of times when people encounter this kind of stuff, it happens at a very specific house. But this is just following her. Like wherever she goes, this happens. Like she was at her sister's house for the first time. This isn't where this typically happens. It just follows her.
Unless she can see it, because this little boy literally could have been there because it seems like he knew where the window was. So if she's a ghost whisperer, I feel like she just can see this shit. And like this specific one wasn't following her because he knew where the window was.
That's what I'm saying. Like I feel like it has nothing to do with the house and more with just who she is as a person. Because like she could be at a hotel in Chattanooga. And it could happen to her there. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm trying to say. It's like she has a connection to the other side. She should get in contact with the Long Island medium because they have a lot in common. They're seeing people from beyond.
Now here's a thought.
Let's hear it.
What, have you ever seen Interstellar?
No, it's too long.
Okay, well, this is kind of hard to explain, but I feel like campers probably, some of them haven't seen that either. So it's kind of like a bend in the time-space continuum where like he could make things move in a different like realm and it would move on Earth even though he wasn't really there. Do you know what I mean? So like what if she can just see into like a different dimension and that's literally just a boy existing and he's like, I'm gonna look out the window. Like he's not dead yet. He's just looking out the window and she can peer into that other other world.
It's giving ghost to me, but that could hey, you could be right. Let's look at the real crime here. What is the reason for closing up a window?
What's going on there?
When do we not want natural light? If anything, we want more windows.
Well, if it was on a ground level, that could have been like really creepy to have like a window like right there. I don't know.
You think people on ground level aren't deserving of windows?
That's
Babe,
yeah.
ground level has windows.
I don't know. I'm pulling things out of my ass.
We just really miss natural light living in Brooklyn. We really do.
We do.
I miss the sun.
Okay, so that's my story. What have you got for us?
That was really scary because that was a lot of times it's like we can always side with like, oh, it's not real, but that one felt real.
It was real. It was real to me.
I like how it just ended right after we discovered what happened. And she was like, that's it, babe.
Bye.
Talk amongst yourselves, bitch. Dear camp counselors, let's get straight into it. All the names have been changed, she says.
Great.
There was this one Halloween, my cousin Razor. First of all, we're going to stop there. I love that you've chosen to change all the names for us, but you've chosen your cousin's name to be Razor. I don't know if that's an inside joke, but it just seems really funny.
Maybe it's because of Halloween candy, or maybe he preferred to travel by scooter.
I was thinking the Razor phone.
Oh.
But it could be scooter.
Yeah, who knows?
Okay, so there was this one Halloween, my cousin Razor and I wanted to do something truly spooky and daring. I had done some urban exploring before, so I suggested we sneak into the abandoned Taunton State Hospital in Massachusetts. Very close to me, about 15 minutes up the highway from where I used to live. It's notoriously known to be like very famously spooky. It was like I don't know what they called it before. Like they called it like a psych ward, like
Asylum?
a mental health facility. Yeah, like an asylum.
It's
And
it's abandoned.
It's abandoned, and like they've done shows there and stuff like that. It's like very well known. I'm sure you've probably heard a story from there because you're very like versed in this.
Probably.
So she hesitantly agreed. So Razor was like, fine, we'll go. And I like that Razor's a girl. She's a bit of a goody two-shoes, but she invited her medium friend, Veronica.
Where's everybody getting these medium friends?
I want a medium friend named Veronica of all things.
I'm the small friend. Look at me.
I want to be, I'm a large friend.
Stop.
Veronica was born with the ability to see and interact with people and spirits on the other side and told me stories of her experiences growing up all throughout her life. She seemed legit and relatively undisturbed by this ability. Well, you kind of have to roll with it.
Yeah.
You can't be scared by your ability. That's why I want the camper from the last story to lean into it.
Yeah, it was like, also I have questions like, did this start when you were a child?
Maybe TLC, it's a little too spooky for them, but A&E will gladly take it. I know them. The weekend of Halloween, we used the darkness of night to our advantage and parked at the cemetery nearby, going to the Taunton Hospital fence by foot. I would never go here. I don't like that idea. It's just too spooky for me. We had to walk through a neighborhood and sneak through somebody's yard to get there. But once at the fence, we found police jackets laying on the ground. I found this to be a bit sus, but my amateur friends were spooked. I had no choice but to respect the majority vote and abandon our break-in. What do you think about that?
There were police jackets on the ground.
See, to me, it seems like it was a very like notoriously known entrance because they're going through the cemetery or probably over a fence or like through a backyard. And someone's probably like, oh, if we leave these here, people will naturally turn around. So it probably was sus.
Yeah, it's smart because even if they put cameras up, like who's going to be staring at the cameras 24/7?
Also, like, why are the police stripping down? Like, keep your jacket on, bitch. Like, this is an official uniform. These are expensive and they're taxpayer fucking dollars. So,
Or they could have been a Halloween costume.
Tied around your waist, bitch. Yeah, it definitely could be. You're right. We walked back to the car and decided to bring my Ouija board into the cemetery we parked at. However, Veronica seemed tense despite agreeing. She's like, bitch, I'm not clocked in right now. Don't make me do this. As we're walking in, there's a small patch of trees that we stop to set the board up. I light up a candle and Veronica asks if we see the man. Razor and I both say no. I'm still not over Razor. Veronica says he's standing a few feet away with a blue face and looks to be drenched in water. I suggested we communicate through the Ouija board. Veronica says she's scared too, but kneels down anyways to put her fingers on the planchette. Is that how you say that?
Yeah, planchette.
Never knew that's what it was called. So that was a really fun thing for me to learn today. I won't absorb it for sure, but in this moment, I know what I'm talking about.
Are we just going to ignore the fact that they're like going to do this while this man is standing there?
Well, only Veronica can see it.
Okay.
And they probably don't even know. Well, our camper doesn't know Veronica that well.
I feel like my interruptions are really just taking us out of the spookiness. So I'm going to keep my mouth shut. I'm sorry.
We're literally not a ghost podcast. People are here to listen to the silliness. So
I know, but if we have one podcast a year that people can just be super scared. Okay, I'm doing it again. Go ahead.
So the board tells us that the nearby spirit's name is Bill. After this, Veronica yelps, saying he's too close to us, even going so far as to cover her face and almost kind of cower. Razor quickly closes the board, and we make our way further into the cemetery until Veronica doesn't feel Bill's presence anymore. Once far enough away, Veronica explains he had a desperate scratching energy. She tells us to bring the board back out, and we get to speaking with another spirit named Sarah, with an H, which is interesting because we don't know if the spirit, did they spell it out? Yeah, they would have had to.
Yeah, it's a Ouija board.
Colonial girls love to put an H at the end of the name, and I have a colonial name, Zachariah. We love a silent H at the end. Veronica says she starts to feel creeped out again, and Sarah spells out, Bill is watching.
Ew.
When we ask her if he's bad, she says yes, then says goodbye. Veronica begins looking all around her. Her gaze lands on a close-by tree. I see him looking at us, she says. We need to go. This was enough thrill for me and Razor. Sorry. So we packed up as fast as possible and power walked our asses back to the car. When we got back, Veronica told us she felt dizzy and like her throat was closing up, and we had to run back through the patch of trees on the way to the car. She claimed that Bill seemed to want us, so I'm convinced she/we survived a near possession. Anyways, happy belated Friday the 13th. Veronica is now an actress in Hollywood and has starred in major motion pictures. She's truly kicking ass. Yours truly, Liz from Cabin 9.
Do you think it was Jennifer Love Hewitt?
I'm just joking. Veronica was not an actress. I added that part. No, sorry, guys. I almost spilled my wine.
Oh my God, that scared the shit out of me.
Well, something had to because the story wasn't scaring anybody because I kept interrupting.
I just had a heart palpitation. I'm not even kidding.
Well, that's good. That's the whole point of the episode.
I had to catch my breath.
Okay, well, that's
okay,
the
that
end
was
of that
scary.
story. That's the end of it.
Okay, well, I'm glad that they survived it. And it's crazy because I used to do that shit. I used to be that girl. I had a backpack in the back of my car 24/7. I wouldn't drive anywhere without it. And it had my Ouija board in it and it had candles.
It is just, I'm so glad you are not that girl anymore because I like, as much as like you're allowed to be your own person, I will never in my life touch a Ouija board. I've talked about this in the podcast before. I'm not into that. Like, I feel like that opens up a portal that doesn't need to be open. So what's the motivation here?
I was bored and in high school, but I agree. That's why I don't like fuck with them anymore. I'm like, what am I doing this for? Because too much like scary shit has happened to me.
I always sympathize with people who are trying to contact a loved one desperately. That happens much in movie.
Yeah.
Much in film.
I was literally sitting in graveyards with Gabby and Tiffany, and we were just sitting there with like start raining, and we would be like, we have to finish it. Close the circle. Close the circle. Literally like.
Wait, I'm obsessed with that. Yeah, you're a spooky ass bitch.
And then almost got in a car accident on the way home. Like, crazy shit. And then, oh my God, one time did get in a car accident on the way home in a convertible that our seats were not buckled, and we had sushi, and sushi went everywhere. Sushi went flying everywhere. There was like a court case that was involved in all this shit. It was crazy.
That's a story for another day, but I want to hear it.
For another day.
Oh my God. Well, campers, it kind of goes without saying. You either are or you're not a Ouija girl. And you can be Team Zachariah, anti-Ouija, or you could have been a Ouija teen like Jonathan. And like, there's no right or wrong answer. We're separating the
church from state.
Yeah, it's church from state. It's scared from strong. And there's nothing wrong with being scared.
Yeah.
I'm team scared.
And even if you're not Team Ouija, I think we can all be Team Squeegee. So when you're done taking a shower, campers, just use that squeegee. We don't want watermarks now, do we?
I love that. Let's hear our next scary story.
All right. Listen up, campers. This is a little bit of a long one, but I think it's worth it. Hey, happy counselors. I'm so embarrassed that I only just discovered your podcast last week. I'm a huge fan of both your TikToks and an even bigger fan of your podcast. I'm scrambling to catch up. That being said, I have a scary story for you too. Let's get into it.
I love that you're here now. You didn't have to be there before. Obviously, there's honorary marks for campers that have been here since the beginning. We'll never forget you guys, but we love the community to continue to grow. So welcome now.
Yeah, you're a camper through and through. In 2017, my best friend and I lived in a 2-bedroom condo in a remote mountain town in Colorado. The condo was a repurposed hotel. Okay, that's creepy.
Yeah, that is gross. It's not gross, but it's definitely gross. So let's hear the rest.
So it was a repurposed hotel, and it should not have been a permanent living situation.
Why?
But housing in the mountain towns is tight, and we chose this condo over being homeless, which we were 2 weeks before moving in, but that's another story. Let me explain the layout of this condo. Our bedrooms had, and there's quotes around this, front doors, which went inside the building, and there were no outdoor windows in our rooms. Okay.
Wait, ew.
Yeah, I
Wait,
hate it.
ew. Front door access, but no window?
The only window outside was one small window in the living room and a sliding glass door in the kitchen.
Okay, so there's only 2 windows in the house.
Yeah. We lived on the first floor, and that winter we got about 8 feet of snow in 1 week, and all the windows were all but buried.
Oh my God, that's a lot of snow.
What I'm trying to say is the condo was dark and scary, and there were weird vibes in there. Both my best friend and I would hear creepy noises and always felt like we were being watched, especially in our bathrooms, which were just across the hall from each other. Specifically, it always felt like someone was standing there in the hall between our bathrooms watching us get ready. Also, we were both having sleep paralysis constantly. It was so scary in my bedroom that I eventually moved my twin mattress to the living room and slept on the floor. For some reason, it felt like older man energy. We ended up getting holy water to cleanse the condo.
Where?
At the church? I don't know.
Where do you get holy water?
I don't know.
Well, I'm just
So they ended up maybe eBay. I don't know. You can get splashed water.
imagine going to the church and be like, "Hey, can I get this bottle to go?" He's like, "All I have is ramekins." Wait, I have
Sparkling or flat?
I have a styrofoam takeout container.
Okay,
It's
stop.
sloshing in the car. Let me joke.
You have one of those fountain cups that's a cone shape. You can't put it down. What are you doing with it?
You have, and it's stick shift.
It's
Good luck.
good luck with that. Okay, so we ended up getting holy water to cleanse the condo, so we would have some semblance of comfort for whatever spirit may be there. Eventually, our lease ended, and thankfully, we moved out and pretty much forgot about any instances of creepy things happening. Flash forward to 2020. I had moved out of the ski town to Denver, but my boyfriend and I visit a couple of friends, we'll call them Whiskey and Ruby, who still live in that same area. While we were there, I was recounting this creepy story at just about the same moment we were driving by my old condo. Well, I think whatever spirit had lived at my old place had heard me talking shit and followed me back to my city.
No.
In the following weeks, my boyfriend and I both experienced sleep paralysis in the creepiest of ways. When I was home alone, the feeling of being watched had returned. One day, I was home alone napping on the couch in the middle of the day, and my sleep paralysis took over. It sounded like my boyfriend had come home and he was telling me to get up, but I couldn't move. Eventually, I opened my eyes to find that he, in fact, was not home. He had an even creepier situation. He said he was asleep in bed, and I came and sat down on the bed and talked to him, but I wouldn't turn to face him. But I never actually did that. I was in the other room the whole time. And then another time, I was asleep in bed while he was still up. He walked by the bedroom to go to the bathroom, and he said he saw me sitting straight up in bed. He took a second look, and I was laying down, sleeping normally. That is so scary. Like just walking past a bedroom and seeing somebody sitting up in bed, and then you're like, oh my God, what is that? You look again and they're just laying down.
Yeah, like a double take.
Yeah, that's terrifying.
That is scary.
I told Whiskey and Ruby about this, and they agreed to help me get the spirit out. They came for the weekend, and we took acid. Oh God, like, did we have to do this while we're getting a spirit out of the house?
No, it's not the time to be doing acid.
Yeah, she's like, just because we like doing it. Ruby and I were laying on a pillow pile on the floor while Whiskey was laying on the couch. I kept feeling like someone was walking over the pillows just above my head. I thought Whiskey was the one who was getting up, but she had not moved.
Oh, Whiskey's a girl.
Yeah, same with Razor. After the third time I felt this, I told the girls, I'm being haunted, and it was time to sage the place. We got our sage and went around from room to room chanting only positive feminine energy.
Yes.
Love that chant. We left the balcony door slightly open so the spirit could get out of the apartment. Upon finishing, we decided to all get into the jacuzzi tub to wash off the haunting energy. I mean, you have to do what you have to do. It's part of it, you know?
Do you have to wash yourself after?
No, but who doesn't like a little jacuzzi?
Okay, so just like a good opportunity to get in the tubby.
Yeah.
Okay, girls, I'm obsessed.
We decided to call the spirit Mark because it felt like it matched his old man energy.
Not your cousin leaving name Mark.
It wasn't until we got out of the tub, we imagined he was watching us in the tub, that we felt Mark leave the house.
It was smart to leave the door open. I never thought to do that. I like that idea.
We were all standing in the kitchen getting ready to go outside when a loud rumbling sound went across the ceiling from the front door to the balcony door. This was a brand new building. The apartment was soundproof. I had never heard anything like this or any sound from upstairs before. Immediately, Ruby had swore like she felt Mark pass through her. She ran to the bathroom and threw up.
No way.
Could also be the acid, but who am I to say?
Oh, you're so right. No, it's not. It was Mark.
But after we did this, the sleep paralysis stopped. My boyfriend was hesitant to believe that saging the apartment would work, but he admitted that it stopped all these occurrences. And there's no signature.
I love the idea, like I said before, of leaving the door open so it gets out. Because maybe they just couldn't open the door. Ghosts don't have thumbs, and that's what I'm learning really quickly.
They can pass through walls, they can't walk out the door.
I passed through your body, but I can't open the door. And that ghost literally was like left the apartment. It went into her car when she drove by, remember?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think when significant others start to like validate what someone's saying, or a friend is a roommate, when two people are experiencing something in a house, it kind of rules out that like, am I overreacting vibe?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what's really scary. But the only thing I'm going to take away from that story is Whiskey, Ruby, and Razor. These are three people who now work at the camp in some capacity. The campers who listen to this episode, we can discuss amongst ourselves and we can cast them in our fictitious camp. But Whiskey, Ruby, and Razor have to work at Camp JD Bridge because these names are so stupid. I'm obsessed with them.
Crazy girls.
That was really good, and I love that she's just up in the mountain towns. The mountain towns are really scary. I
think when you when you start talking about energies and stuff, like when she was retelling the stories, how it kept coming back to her when she was passing it, like I do believe that energies cling and they can grow when you give them energy. Like it makes sense, you know.
Yeah, I've seen Phantom at the Megaplex on Disney Channel. I know how this works.
Oh, Mickey Rooney, may he rest in peace.
Rest in peace, Mickey Rooney. That half a bottle of wine is hitting hard. Can I go?
Yes.
We're going to end on a little bit of a lighter note.
Okay.
I'm excited for this story. Dear camp counselors, might I just say that my autocorrect chose the word dead instead of dear? What the fuck, but fitting for this story.
Okay, that's creepy. Go off.
I first have to thank you for being the ones I let this story out with while my sister is still asleep and I'm recovering alone from a complete sense of terror.
Okay, so this is just happening. Like we're getting the play-by-play?
We're getting the play-by-play. We are the therapists. We are the group chat as a group right now, guys.
It's like I have to tell somebody. I'm going to write it in.
And this was just written in, like this just happened. This isn't an old email. This just happened.
Okay.
So this is very new. I have two sisters and one is getting married this weekend near Chattanooga, Tennessee. Have we been near there?
No, but we saw it on the news.
Okay. I drove to get my other sister from the airport and we got a hotel room together in an average Comfort Inn. Nothing wrong with Comfort Inn. Well, I went to sleep earlier that night and woke up while it was still dark, around 6 a.m. And I thought, I'll check out the breakfast and get some hot water for tea. I put on a cozy sweatshirt and walked down to the lobby, got my hot water, and see signs for the pool, fitness center, and business center. I thought I'd check them out. That is so me. Every time I go to a hotel, I'm like, oh, like, what does the business center look like? Let me just check out what computers they have. Oh, they have a couple of ellipticals. That's nice. Like, I'm never going to use these amenities,
You
but
just
like
to know.
If I'm paying $350 a night, which is essentially 14 hours,
Yeah.
I'm going to see what you're offering.
It's a comfort to know that they're there. And that is why they call it Comfort Inn.
Exactly. And I love it's like 6 a.m. She's like, my sister's sleeping. I'm just going to like get my hot water, peruse, check out the breakfast. Like, it's just, I understand this camper completely. I peeked into the fitness center, which is a nice idea, but the smell is just not the vibe.
Ew.
So I continue down the hallway and then back when I see a man in what looks like a hotel cleaning uniform, hunched over with messy hair and a large kitchen knife with blood on it, charge across the hallway. After feeling immediate panic and kicking into fight or flight mode, I decided my safest option was to swipe my key into the fitness center. I thought he saw me, but then I thought maybe he was so focused and didn't notice. When I got into the fitness center, he was out of sight, charging towards the breakfast area. I heard a woman scream, and I was trying to figure out if I should run out or duck beneath the window. It then went silent. There was a good amount of people eating breakfast, so I figured the guy would be distracted or more people would be trying to do something. So I decided to run out and try to make it back to my room where I left my phone and my sister. As I dart out the door to get back to my room, thinking I might not make it or have to run out the front door instead. I saw it was an employee with a wig and a bloody knife in his hand who played a Halloween prank on his coworkers.
Okay, so it's a so it's a prank.
But seriously, what the fuck? At 6 a.m. on a Saturday morning in a hotel breakfast area? I have been soothing a panic attack for an hour now and cannot wait for my sister to wake up. I guess this is my panic attack warm welcome to the fucking South. Wish me luck from the camper who locked herself in the fitness center.
I love that. Hey, at least she did something. At least she locked herself in the fitness center, because my fright, flight, or
freeze.
I freeze.
I'm such a freezer too.
Mhm.
Together, we're a disaster.
We are doomed. Yeah, like when the fire alarm went off in the middle. Oh my God. What we didn't talk about at the Peabody, when the fire alarm went off at
What did we not talk about?
whatever time in the morning, I was like, we have to pack our bags. Like, we have to bring our luggage down. Like, what was I thinking?
I told you to not do that, but then I was like, what are you doing in that moment? But then when we left the room, I immediately went to the elevators, which is what you don't do. Together, we're not making it.
Granted, we had just woke up. But yeah, I think in said circumstances, I don't think we're going to make it to the sequel.
Can you picture this camper ducked under like the open window that kind of shows like where the treadmills are, and she's literally crouching and she's thinking to herself, can I run? And if I can't make it to the room, I'm running for the front door. Like the amount of panic, and in the world we live in too, where there's like just insanity happening 24/7. But why is there a prank with a wig on and a bloody knife at 6 a.m. on a Saturday for the employees? Like, who is this coworker and why is he so up and at 'em?
Yeah, let's keep it in the back rooms. Let's keep that in the kitchen, out of eyeline of the people who are working there.
I don't know. It really was just chaotic, and I love that story. And I wanted to end today's spooky pre-Halloween episode on a little bit of a lighter note.
Well, thank you for sharing that.
Thank you to the campers for sharing all of this. We already have a bunch more to tell. They're already planned out, so we're going to record those soon. But continue to send in your stories for any of our segments to campcounselorspodcast.com at the writing tab, or you can go to campcounselorspod@gmail.com and send us a direct email. But thank you to everybody. But really, thank you to Razor, Ruby, and Whiskey, because we couldn't do it without you. Seriously, we love you so much here at Camp Shady Word.
Okay.
And with that being said, happy Halloween and
Lights out, campers.